Hey everyone, Dr. Barrett here with Hearing and Balance Doctors. Today I'm going to talk to you about the top 3 reasons why you should choose to go with the newest Phonak Infinio Sphere devices, or the top 3 reasons you should choose to go with the ReSound Vivia 9 devices. So these are both some of the best prescription medical grade hearing technology on the planet right now. They both use artificial intelligence signal processing to help you hear your best in background noise specifically. And they have certain features that you might prefer. I use this analogy all the time. When you're going to buy a new vehicle, sometimes you take a test drive in those vehicles and you notice one vehicle has a certain features or it feels better and you go with that vehicle. Well, hearing aids are kind of the same way. When you're starting off with the process, it's actually really nice to be able to try a couple different things and see what works best for you. But some people's lifestyles and preferences are definitely geared towards one versus the other. So let's talk about the top 3 things first that the Phonak Infinio Sphere does really well. If you are into, right now, high fidelity audio streaming, you are going to want to be using the Phonak devices because they use classic Bluetooth, which right now is more stable compared to the new cutting-edge Bluetooth that ReSound and a couple other hearing aid manufacturers are getting into. ReSound and a couple other hearing aid manufacturers, Starkey, Signia, they are using LE audio, which is really cool, and Oticon too. They're using LE audio, really cool because you can access an Auracast feature. That's like, if you've ever heard of a public broadcast with Bluetooth, that's going to be through Auracast. That's new and cutting edge. However, LE audio is only available on certain phones, and even the phones that it's available on, it's really buggy. It's inconsistent and can be very frustrating. If you want reliability with a good streaming connection, you're going to want to stick with the classic Bluetooth for now. That's just the way it is. If you think you're going to stream a lot of music throughout the day, I listen to jazz all the time throughout the day. It's usually jazz. You'll experience a better listening quality with the Phonak devices because of that Bluetooth thing. Another thing that the Phonak Infinio Sphere devices do really well, in my opinion, is speech processing or speech audibility when there's background noise. I took both of these devices to a recent conference. Of course, there's certain people that will prefer one versus the other, but for me, I preferred the Phonak Sphere. I thought these did a better job boosting the speech and taking down the background noise using the artificial intelligence spheric chip that they have inside here. ReSound did a great job too, but with my experience, it did not do as good as the Phonak. So that's another thing Phonak does really well. Another thing you'd want to consider, if you are very sensitive to loud, sharp, sudden sounds, you're overwhelmed, you're like physically uncomfortable in loud situations, you're going to be more comfortable in Phonak devices. It's just like a smoother sound quality relative to ReSound. Okay, so the 3 good things about Phonak Infinio Sphere right now: streaming stability and sound quality with classic Bluetooth. Great. Speech processing in challenging listening situations when there's a lot of background noise. Great. And overall sound quality, smooth, a little bit more comfortable. Great. The ReSound devices, the Vivia 9 devices, they also use artificial intelligence to help you hear well in background noise. It works well, and it's a great feature to take advantage of. In my opinion, it's not quite as good as the Phonak. However, the ReSound devices, I'm sure you can see, are much smaller compared to the Phonak. So if size, let's see if I can get this a little bit closer. You can see here. If size is a concern, you're going to want to go with the ReSound devices because they're much smaller. So this red one, the Vivia, it's the smallest rechargeable hearing aid on the market. This Phonak one, this is the largest rechargeable hearing aid on the market. And I'm talking about with the major hearing aid manufacturers. The best of the best. When we're comparing those two, smallest on the market, largest on the market. So if you want to go as small as possible, ReSound's the way to go. ReSound also does a really good job edging in the sharpness and the detail of sound. So some people prefer to get as much sharp, edgy speech details as possible, like overall sound quality. You're going to have a sharper listening mode with ReSound. So I contrast that with the smoother sound quality with Phonak. So definitely sound quality differences between the manufacturers with that. The last really good thing that ReSound does, in my opinion, is it goes along the lines of using the LE audio, taking advantage of the Auracast broadcast streaming capability. We have remote microphones here that are LE audio enabled, which means if you have a compatible phone, you can set up a public Auracast broadcast, or you can even do a private Auracast broadcast if you put a password into it. You'll see on my phone here, we have the ability to search for a broadcast within the ReSound app. And this is huge. This is cutting edge. So if you go to a theater and they have a public Auracast stream, you can tap into that. You go to an airport and those TVs have a public Auracast stream that you can go through your Bluetooth menu and tap into it. You can do that. So the ReSound app is your kind of like your intermediary remote where you can access the public streams and send it into your hearing devices. So that's been something I've been nerding out on within the past 3 weeks. It's super cool. To recap on the top 3 things, in my opinion, that ReSound does really well is overall size. If you want to go with the smallest rechargeable hearing aid on the market, and still it has a ton of battery life capacity. It's not going to die on you during the day. ReSound wins on in the size domain. With that sharp, edgy, bright, detailed sound quality, ReSound wins on that front if you prefer that. And then cutting edge with the Bluetooth LE audio and the Auracast streaming capabilities. If you want to be on that cutting edge, then you're going to want to be in ReSound devices to take advantage of that. There are some quirks with the LE audio right now. Only certain Android phones are compatible with that at this point. And even with those phones, there is some inconsistency, buggy issues because the phone manufacturers are still working out the quirks. iPhones don't even have that capability yet. If you have the opportunity, I would try both of these devices. Go to a hearing care provider, ideally an audiologist who follows best practices and has a great trial period so you can try different things without paying any extra money. If you come to us, you can try as many devices as you want without paying any extra money. So at the end of the trial, you're going to make a really informed decision about what you prefer, what's working best for you, what value you think is the best. So those are my recommendations there between Phonak and ReSound. I hope you got a lot out of this video. A lot of it was my personal feelings, and everyone has their own personal feelings, but as an audiologist, I feel like, and as someone who's worn both of these devices, I feel like I have a good perspective there. Feel free to leave a comment about any questions you have, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay, everybody, we so appreciate you watching the video today. If you've liked what you've seen, please like it, subscribe to our channel. It means the world to us, but it also means the world to other people who are trying to figure out what's going on with their hearing health. So thank you for watching.